Oh, this is real close up. All right, so I was gonna wait till tomorrow when I'm, on my way to pick up my son, but I figured I'll do it today since I have nothing to do. My Chromecast isn't working, so I figured I'll talk to you guys today. So what I wanted to talk about is time travel and my experience with time travel. To me, time travel comes, I don't want to say easy or, but I have witnessed myself, going back in time, not necessarily physically, but mentally and emotionally and everything else but my body going back in time. So, with that being said, let me turn this down. Where's the remote? I'm in bed actually. So there's one time where it really stood out to me. It was about 2014 sometime, or like in November, October, November, somewhere around there. So I remember I was grocery shopping. I was in Save-A-Lot. And like I said, it's happened to me many times, but it was that one time that was seriously so significant that it really stuck with me. So yes, I was in Save-A-Lot. I was shopping and this song comes on. I forgot what song it was. I think it was like a Savage Garden song from like 97, 98. And it came on and I just remember going into sort of like a trance, and I was kind of like frozen for about 3 to 5 seconds, and it was like I was back in 1998, and the feelings that I had when this song used to be on TV and listening to it was all there, and I could like vividly see myself back there and be able to have the feelings that I did back then. And although it only lasted for such a short amount of time, like I said, 3 to 5 seconds, it was a lot, and it really taught me a lot about, time traveling. Now the government is able to go back physically and send people back and all that stuff, but for a normal person who is highly sensitive and highly what's the word, really into, like I said, I'm very sensitive to things happening around me. So for me to be able to experience something like that and witness the same feelings that I had back then, just triggered by a song, a movie, anything, it really, speaks to time travel and that it is possible even without all this fancy machines and stuff like that. So, like I said, it's happened to me more than once, and especially with music. Music from the 90s. Anytime I hear it, it's like the room becomes the same like temperature it was back then. I have the same feelings, I have the same thoughts, I have the same everything. So if you're wondering, time travel is real, and it depends on each person to find that trigger that takes them back through time. Okay, so that being said, I talk about governmental time travel. Yes, I do. I don't want to say no because I don't know, because I've never witnessed it myself. That the government is able to time travel and send people back in time. Not just because of the stuff I seen, the lady on the phone, cell phones back in the day. The main thing people say towards that as well, who's she calling back then? They don't have towers and stuff like that. But what you need to understand is, if we have the technology to send people back in time, don't you think we have the technology to make sure their cell phones work when they're back in time? You know, it doesn't have to do with towers. It doesn't have to do with any of that. We have that technology. You know, have you ever heard of satellite phones? Satellite phones today allow you to talk in the middle of the freaking Amazon and call people all the way here. So won't you think they will, you know, invent something that is strong enough to span time? And speaking of time, time isn't really a thing. It is more an illusion to where people witness time differently. That's how you can kind of know that it isn't a set thing. It is based on each person. Like a decade to me can feel like a year to somebody else, and then a lifetime to another person. So it isn't, oh, it's only this, it's only that. No, it depends on how you experience time and how you're able to, you know, tell time. But with that being said, you know, also the days to some people could be really long and boring, and then to some people they're like, oh, it went by fast. So time is relative. It's not a concrete thing. You know, they sell us this illusion of time to, I don't know why they do actually. It's just crazy to me, because people are really hung up on time. Oh, I don't have time for this. I should be doing this by now. I'm 30. I'll be 28 this year, and I'm freaking out because to me, it was like yesterday I graduated high school. Now it's been 10 years later, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, why is time moving so fast? Like in the year aspect, it's like just going by, and you know, the days are long as shit, but years are just like whizzing by. I'm like, what the hell? So to each person, time is relative to each person. It depends on how you see time, how you view time, how you experience time, which makes it relative to you and your own experiences. I'm trying to remember something, and it takes me to the topic of deja vu also, which is kind of what happened to me in the supermarket. It's not deja. That wasn't deja vu. Deja vu is when you see something and then it really plays out. Like you have a dream, and say you're ice skating and you're smiling and laughing, and then 2 days later, or in my case, it'll happen months and even years later, and you're ice skating, all of a sudden you're laughing. It's like, whoa, I've had this thought, or I had this dream before. It's so weird. Even though it only lasts for about 2 to 3 seconds, it really trips you out. My most powerful moments of deja vu came, I was 15. Yeah, 15. I had just turned 15 going into the 9th grade. 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, 15 going into the 9th grade. And let me tell you, at this point I was living with my sister. And over the summer, I had a dream. Obviously, you don't know that you've had it. In my case, I don't know that I had the dream. So the first day of high school, I remember going into the class, a brand new teacher. I didn't know him. It was a new school. Half the people were people that went to middle school with me, and half the people were new people. And I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, this, for like about 3 to 5 seconds, it's like, whoa, I've had this, and I've seen this person, I've seen that person. I didn't see this person or the teacher, and I was just tripping out, like, oh my God, like really, I had a real vision, not just deja vu. It's just like a real vision of this classroom and my teacher and my classmates. But the thing was, I only saw the faces of the people that I knew previously. The new kids and the teacher, I could not, their faces were blurry in the dream. So I was like, because I remember always in my dreams, when I meet a new person, like they're always blurry or my eyes become blurry in the dream and I'm always rubbing. I remember always rubbing my eyes and I'm wondering, well, why can't I see this person? And at that moment, it made sense to me. Why? Because I've never seen this person before, or it's a new person coming in. So I could not see their face because I have not met them before to know what they look like. So I was sitting there. I was so freaked out. I was freaked out the whole day. I was like, whoa, I actually saw this. And it was so different from just deja vu. This was an actual premonition, being able to literally map out where each person was going to be at that moment and the teacher and the things he would say. It was very surreal, and it was just, it like took me, I was taken aback by it. And that moment really solidified my belief in my own abilities, even though I didn't really try to develop them until, these past few years. But it let me know that I had the ability and that I wasn't just, having deja vu like any regular person. But yeah, that was a big moment for me. But I didn't really develop my own abilities till this past, like 2014 is when I really started. Well, yeah, when I really started. Late 2014 is when I really started digging deeper and looking into my own abilities. What happened to me around that time, it was 2013, and I had given birth to my youngest son, who is 2 now. He's about to be 3. Gave birth to him, was in the hospital for about 3 days because I had a C-section, and I came home. And that night I came home, I was attacked by, I don't know if it was an evil spirit or, whatever. But it was a witch. She was white. Her face was white. Her hair was just like gray and scraggly and just like unkempt. And she had on an old-timey dress. She was just brittle and frail. And I remember falling asleep, and she reached up with her hand and just like grabbed my stomach, and my whole stomach went numb. And I was just so scared. I jumped up and screamed out for my mom. And I was just like, whoa, what the hell was that? And that was the first thing that happened to me after I had my son. I mean, things happened before, but never anything scary like that. So, yeah, after that one, my nephews, they used to wake up at night. No, they used to never want to go to sleep till like late, like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. They would just be up screaming their heads off. And we're always wondering, well, why? Why would they do that? So one night, and this was after, that witch situation. One night I got up to go use the bathroom, and I usually don't turn the lights on, I just walk and use it in the dark, just so I don't have to turn on any lights. And I walked by their bedroom, and I saw someone walk by me this way. And it was just this little guy, maybe like Hispanic, just a little Hispanic gay man walked into my bedroom with where my baby was. And he was just laughing and smiling and just jolly. So I didn't, there was nothing off about it. So I didn't really worry about it. And once I was in the bathroom, I usually keep the door open also so I could hear or see. And believe it or not, in the bedroom, because their bedroom was across from the bathroom. So I was sitting there, and in the doorway was this huge, like tall, thick, giant black male. And he was just standing there, just staring them down. And once he realized that I saw him, he turned around and was staring me down, and it was just like, oh my God, well, I was kind of scared. So, but in my mind, I was like, okay, so that's why they would scream all night, because this person was just standing. I mean, he wasn't doing anything bad. He was just standing there. He was very intimidating. When I say big, think of Terry Crews, but bigger, and just with a mean look on his face. But like I said, he wasn't doing anything, bad. He was just very intimidating. And that really helped me to understand, okay, well, that is why they're screaming their heads off, every night, because this person or this spirit or whatever was just standing there and just trying to scare them. So, okay, yeah, what was that? Second. And then third, I think this was this the last experience I had in there? Yeah, I think this is the last experience. The one I'm about to tell you is the last experience I had before I moved out of there. Yeah, so, and still after, I had my baby. My son, my oldest one, he was 4 at the time. I would go into the garage and he would always run behind me and follow me. But this one particular day, I had him in the living room watching TV, and he had on a red shirt and I don't remember what kind of bottoms. So I passed him and I went into the garage, and all of a sudden, all of us, like in the back of, you can kind of, in your peripherals, you can kind of tell when someone is running behind you or coming behind you. And I got a vision of him, and I saw the red shirt, and it ran behind me into the garage. And I get ready to turn around and tell him, go back inside. And there was nobody there. So it like ran behind me and flashed me a picture of my son so that I would know. At this point, I didn't realize this, but when they come to you, they show you, if they're a child and you know a child or have a child, they'll flash a picture of your child or give you something familiar of your child to let you know, okay, well, I'm just a child. I'm not here to harm or whatever. So, and I get a lot of child spirits that come around me. Yeah, so after that, and I say, okay, well, I know he just ran behind me. So I ran into the living room, and there he was just sitting there watching TV. And usually if he had done it, he would be laughing or smiling, but he was just watching TV. And, there was no way he could have got there in the time I would have turned around. So that was the last thing that happened to me in that house. And then I moved. But as far as child spirits, they come around me a lot. All the time. All the time. I remember when I was here in my home right now, I got a package. A heavy package too. And I was walking with it in my hands, and I really couldn't see around it. So I was walking and I got to the hallway, and at that time my baby was like 1, where he was still, sometimes he would crawl, but he was good. But out of the corner of my eye, I'm carrying this big box, and out of the corner of my eye, I see down and I see him crawling on the floor. So I like shift myself so that I wouldn't basically step on him or bump into him and go around him. And then I look back to tell him come on, and there was nothing there. And he was sitting in the room happy and watching TV and stuff like that. So it's stuff like that happens. I mean, at the time, you don't really realize what it is. And then reflecting back, it's like, okay, I get it. But yeah, child spirits, they don't mean any harm. They're always playful. They, always happy. They always come just to let you know that, okay, I am a child. I'm not, hold on. Yeah, to show you that they mean no harm. But there's plenty of spiritual things. Let me tell you about the time I got visited by angels. Now, this It's actually been twice. The first time, how old was I? I was like 12, 12 or 13. I was in middle school at the time. I was in 7th or 8th grade. And, you know, I was walking with my sister because my mom gave me some money to go to Walmart and, you know, just get a few stuff. So we went to Walmart, me and my sister. And we stayed there longer than we wanted to. It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock at this point when we left. And when I said there was nobody, there is nobody on the road, not even a freaking car. And this was a mostly residential, so there wasn't much traffic to begin with. So, you know, we're walking and walking, no cars are coming, so it's dark and there's not much lights on the street either. So we're walking, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this guy appears on a bicycle riding by, and he says, "Excuse me." You know, we think nothing of it at the time, just that he really came out of nowhere. And he says, "Excuse me," and rides by. It was very polite, nothing, you know, no scary feelings. So he rides by us, and, you know, a few steps ahead of us, there's a big open field. So, and it's about a block and a half or 2 blocks wide and long. So it's a big open space. It was like a ballpark or something like that. So he rides by us and turns into the open field, and we're walking a couple steps and look to the right, and he was gone. Just an open field there. He was gone. And when I tell you, because we didn't understand it at that point, especially me, so we saw that and we took off running, and we ran till we got home. So that happened, and I never forgot it. And fast forward a couple years, at this point I was still pregnant with my 2-year-old. I was like 6 or 7 months, and I was going for my checkup at the doctor. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I remember there was no one outside. And in this area, they have panther crossings and shit like that. So I was scared of maybe there's a panther out there and I'm gonna get attacked. And I just had I was just a little scared at the time. So I'm putting my son in my car, and this little lady walks by, you know, and like I said, she came out of nowhere because I didn't see her coming down the street at all. And the way that the homes are set up there, it was a good amount of space between each. So there's no way anyone can come out of nowhere and surprise you. So she walks by and she says good morning, and we smile and, you know, whatever. So I finished putting my son in the car and look up, and she was gone. So like I said, there was no way in that time. It's like a 3-second, you know, amount of time, and in that time there was nowhere she could have gone from my front door anywhere. And in that same moment is when I realized that, okay, that was an angel. And then it made me reflect back on the first time, and I was like, okay, maybe that was an angel too, because I had the same feelings. I recognized the feelings I had at that point, and realized it was the same feeling I had the first time, which was a little scared and a little, you know, just scared and felt like alone, and, you know, so that feeling alone made me realize what they were, and that, you know, I had people looking out for me. So, yeah, those are my experiences. I have tons more, but I can't tell you all at once. So, but yeah, as far as my experiences with the supernatural, that happens every day. Like I said before, I do my readings every day. I do, you know, a good amount. Not that much right now, but I'm building myself in order to do more and more and more and more and more. So, and each day I'm learning something new in this world, and better ways to make contact, and better ways to handle my abilities and to share them with people. So that is what I'm doing. So I mean, I guess that's it. I don't really have anything else to talk about, as far as time traveling goes, and my experiences. So if you have any, feel free to share. If you have any thoughts at all, feel free to share. And yeah, we'll chat, and I'll make some more videos. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.